Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how's it going in DC? How's the weather?
It is good in DC. The weather is in the 60s. And then, of course, as you know, this weekend I was in Atlanta, so I got to enjoy
Yeah.
that nice 70-degree weather. So, yeah, it was a good weekend overall. How about you?
It was good. I was in Portland, but I was in rainy Portland, which is always rains. It was funny because I asked Alexa what was the temperature, I was about to pack. Expect rain. I already knew it. Of course, my sister and my brother-in-law say it was beautiful yesterday though. Sun was out. Yeah, it was raining now, but I
Yeah,
expected it.
you
Yeah.
brought the rain. And Chike, Philly was good.
Philly was good. Weather was okay. Typical fall weather. Nothing special.
Yep.
I actually like it like this though.
Yeah, I like it like this. I just like the rain, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Well, I'll let y'all take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I was traveling this past weekend, but I did catch up on a couple of shows and then a movie release that came out earlier this year. And I'm going to start with that one because Chike reviewed it actually earlier this year as well. And it's Renfield. And you can see that on
Mhm.
Amazon Prime right now. But this is the story about Renfield, who's Dracula's familiar servant, and it's the modern day and he's learning how to kind of break off of this relationship he's had with Dracula for centuries. And Nicholas Holt plays Renfield. Nicholas Cage plays Dracula. And as Chike said, this is a fun one. I know Chike is not normally a Nick Cage fan, but yeah, this one, I checked it out because I know Chike, you mentioned you liked it, so I decided to give it a shot, and I did enjoy it. I will say uh, the action scenes, and maybe this is part of it, was a little silly over the top. The fake blood looked really fake. Like I felt like
Yeah.
I don't mind them overdoing it, but you could tell it was all CGI blood for the most part. So I was hoping for a little bit more than that. But yeah, I liked it. It's a good length. I think it's like an hour and a half, so it's a good, easy airplane watch as I did to get through with it. And another fun thing is actually one of the characters, a criminal named Doug in the movie early on that Renfield approaches. He is actually someone I did a web series with, like small time 15 years ago, when we were both just kind of doing like little independent short things in Atlanta. So that was fun to see. I saw him on the screen. I was like, "Oh, is that Keith?" And it was. And so it's always nice to see kind of old friends or people you worked with from so long ago, kind of getting in these movies. So yeah, fun stuff. If you're a fan, I like what Nicolas Cage did in this. I think him and Nicholas Holt had good kind of back and forth, and they had a good kind of on-screen chemistry. So definitely check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. The next thing I saw and I started is Good Omen season two, and this has been out for a little while as well. But season one came out earlier. I think it was one of those pandemic shows, but it's a Neil Gaiman property, and it stars David Tennant and Michael Sheen as a devil and an angel who, in season one, they're stopping the Armageddon because they live on Earth, they live a comfortable life, and they don't want the Earth to end. Season two kind of picks up from there. Now that the Armageddon has been stopped, they are back and there's a new issue. And this time, this season kicks off with the Archangel Gabriel coming down, and he doesn't have any memory of why he's there and what's going on. So they're working together to kind of figure that out. But the great thing about this show, just kind of like I mentioned in Renfield, Michael Sheen and David Tennant do a great job. They are one of those like on-screen characters that both the actors really play well off of each other. They really have a good time. You can tell that these are characters that knew each other for, according to the show, millennia and stuff like that. So it shines. They keep up that pacing of season one. They keep up the fun, quirky characters. They keep up the kind of score and the setting and how things move along. So if you were a fan of season one, or if you're just a fan of those two actors, definitely check this one out as well. It's another Amazon Prime actually feature, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm planning to finish it soon.
Oh,
And then,
cool.
Yeah, and then finally, this is the newest release, and this is a Netflix miniseries called All the Light We Cannot See. And this series was developed by the other Stephen Knight. Sorry, Stephen, this British writer and producer who's done a few things. And it
I've
is,
seen him too when I Google myself. I'm like, oh, what's this man?
yeah, who is the other Stephen Knight? Yeah, I was confused too when I saw that.
I know.
But yeah, it's so I've only seen one episode so far. It's really good. It's based off a novel. It's a war story. Takes place in World War II. There's a it's this is the city in France, and it's being bombed by the Americans. And there's a German soldier and a blind French girl, and their lives are going to kind of get interwoven into what's happening in the city during this time period. Since it's a limited series, there's only 4 episodes, so we'll actually get resolution pretty quickly on here. But so far, it's so good. This has been, I think, there's been a lot of hype about it. I think the novel was really popular, and Netflix does a good job with a lot of their dramas. So they've done a good job with the setting of this. I will say, if you've seen enough World War II shows or movies to call it a day, you probably don't want to watch this because it is definitely, you're set in World War II. You have the Nazis, you have bombings. Again, you have kind of that human suffering aspect to it. But if you like a good story, this one it's been doing a good job so far. And again, it's all out, so you want to watch it all, just binge it one night, then you can do so.
Good. Real quick, Adam, I want to speak to when you said you saw your friend in the film.
Mhm.
Isn't it like a good warm feeling? Doesn't it feel like a win for yourself too when you see like your people doing something that you know that they, is part of their dream? I love that part.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was cool because yeah, you do stuff with people and you don't see them for a long time and you don't think much about
Hmm.
it, but then you see them and you're like, oh, that's good. They're following their dream and they're following what they want to do. And when they're in a big major movie like this, it's cool to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so I told you guys that I was going to check out Lawman Bass Reeves on Paramount. They just started that, 2 episodes in, starring and produced by David Iolowo and Lauren E. Banks, and stars Moses Briggs and plenty. This is one of those stories of legend, like if anyone saw Watchmen and you saw the opening uh, scenario in Watchmen
Hmm.
with the little boy looking at the cowboy movie, that was about Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves is the reason that we have a Lone Ranger story, because that's what Lone Ranger was based off of. And also stars Dennis Quaid and Donald Sutherland. I'm sure those two were put in for the star power. Um, so far, off to a great start. But my question is for some people to think about. Mr. David is an African actor who has been hired to play an American hero who is an African American in the states that are united, which is us. There's been big controversy about African actors coming over taking African American roles. And I want to just, the listeners, you don't have to do it now, but just hit me up online. Talk to me a little bit about what are your thoughts about that? And how do you feel about African actors coming over, taking over what is now considered African American roles? I would like to know what you think about that. But check out the series because it's awesome and it's good. He did a good job. And by the way, if you guys
I don't see
didn't
a
know,
problem
this
with it,
is
man.
a, huh? What'd
I
you
don't
say?
see a problem with it. I don't see a problem with it. But go ahead.
Yeah, that sounds like a fake controversy.
No, it
Like,
is a thing.
no, I know. Sorry, I should say that sounds like a controversy people are saying just so they can get attention.
Mm.
Mm, good point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Good
because people
point.
come from all over the world and come here and star in movies.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to hear the argument though. I want to hear it out. I want to see it written out. Leave it in the
Yeah,
comments.
I agree.
And if you guys didn't know, this is considered a spinoff to the Yellowstone family. So stay with the storyline because at some point I guess it's going to lead into one of the other stories. Uh, The next film I saw was called Blood. It stars Michelle Monaghan and Skeet Ulrich, and it's about a separated mother who's trying to regain her reputation as a good mother after a separation from her husband, and she moves into her childhood family home to separate and start a new life with her kids. And then there's a tragedy that happens with the family dog, and I will tell you this. This is a vampire story, but it's unlike any other vampire story that you've saw before. I found it to be very good in the sense that it wasn't dead on like most vampire stories, and the origin is yet to be told. This seems more like a second or third stage story, and maybe two prequels will have to come. I'm giving this a thumbs up simply because it's a piece of art that makes me think and it makes me question and it makes me wonder. That's why I like to watch movies. I'm in it for the storyline.
Mhm.
If you can get me on the hook wanting more at the end of it, you're gonna get a thumbs up from me. I'm not one of those people that need to be have things laid out and I need to know where everything is. Leave me wanting more or possibly even creating my own story on the tail end of it. I don't know. I just love open endings. So definitely check it out. It's called Hulu. It's on Hulu. It's called Blood. Next thing on Hulu, it's a brand new series I'm very excited about is Charmaine Wilkinson's novel, Black Cake. It stars Mia Isaac, Chipo Chung, Adrian Warren, Bashi, and the award-winning Glenn Thurman. This is a story about a deceased mother telling her children her life story, her true life story, over a zip drive at the reading of her will. Uh, Apparently, this mother had been living a fake of life, and she wants to confess after her death to her children, and they're finding out the truth of their true heritage. Already, I think I'm what 3 episodes in, this story is already super rich. Like it's layered. It's so many storylines, so many twists. It's and it plays like a very thick, decadent novel. Please check it out. Black Cake. Um, there's some narration in this film. You could not tell me that it was not the Angela Bassett doing the narrating, but I had to look it up because I loved her voice and I loved her delivery. It's not Angela Bassett. It's actually two different women. One is Lynette Freeman, and the other one is Simone McIntyre. Shout out to the voices, ladies. I love it. Definitely check it out. It's on Hulu. Gen V season finale was awesome. Invincible just started back up. I love that. The morning show, Steven, the morning show, the morning show, the morning show. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I had to like I was eating in the middle of because that's one of my favorite things to do when I watch that show. I like to eat my dinner and watch it at the same time. It's nothing like that show in a glass of wine. But I had to stop sipping and I had to put everything down to pay attention because this was one of those doozy episodes.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Mm. What do you think about Reese Witherspoon's character and the breakup?
Um, I thought that so I'm jumping out of the show itself and onto the creation of the show. I thought that it was a nice way for writers to give an homage to journalists and the
Yeah.
integrity of journalists and where they stand in life and where they should stand in life, as
Mhm.
opposed to some of the stuff that we really have going on, where
Right.
journalists are in bed with some of the stuff that's going on. Um,
Mhm.
I actually clapped because how many times do you get to see someone stand on their principles like that? And you clearly
Yeah.
know that they're standing on their principles, only because we were privy to the backstory.
Right.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please check out the morning show. And some people poo poo on us. They say we're not journalists because we're doing podcasts and we're online. We're giving you information in some situations that you may not have. So therefore, if we're being a town crier of some form, way, or fashion, we are journalists. We are the media for what it is that you're listening to. Um,
Reporting the news.
that's right. So with that, I found that to be very powerful in the sense that it showed that integrity and why she was willing to throw away that relationship for the sake of what's right or what's not right from her
Mhm.
perspective.
Right. What about Corey towards the end when they're coming for him?
Listen, when you put a cage, well, I don't say a cage, but if you corner a bull, Corey is a tyrant. He's
Yeah.
a he's a mess. And so the worst thing I think could have happened was for someone to give him a thumbs up. You would have to have attacked Corey and blindsided him in order to get him. But now that he sees that they're coming, there's going to be hell to pay
Yeah.
because he knows where the bodies are buried everywhere. He knows where the bodies are buried.
Right. Yeah. And the last thing I'll ask you about, what do we think about Jennifer Aniston's character, her making her next move?
Uh, I think she's going to find out how hard it really is.
Yeah.
And because what she is a dynamic journalist, and I think that she has that down pat. But once she sees how it crosses and the lines that she's going to have to blur in order to stay in business, one, but she's going to have to compromise her integrity at some point,
Yeah.
and she's not going to like it.
Yeah. She's not. It's so good. So good, Adam. You're sleeping on it. You're sleeping
Yeah,
on
I
it.
feel like this is like we should be y'all getting paid by Apple to promote this show.
I'm telling you, it's good. And
I mean,
Holla at me, Apple. Holla at me.
morning
I
show,
told,
more like boring show.
I,
Am
I
I
told
right?
you I told you I usually watch on Fridays because I was traveling this Friday. I watched it the day it came out, Tuesday, and I was like, "Oh, I wish this was Friday." But anyway,
I want to hear the 17 Christmas movies that have already come out that you've watched, Steven,
I have
because
not started yet.
they
I'm gonna
have
give it a
been
couple more
pushing it
weeks.
already, and
Couple
it is
more weeks. Yeah,
all
no, they
right.
are. No, it's funny. So I got to my sister's house on Friday, and I was like, "This can't be our house because Christmas lights everywhere." So I had to pull out my phone to confirm the address. And I said to her, I said, "Y'all won't play and worry." I said, Brian Carey said it's time. Y'all took it seriously.
Yeah, day after
And she said
Halloween.
they have a company who decorates the outside, and they were booked, so they had to do it then. She said, "That's why." I said, "Why you turning them on then?"
Yeah,
But anyway.
crazy.
Well, anything coming out the pipeline for you all?
The next week is the big Marvel movie, Marvels. So I think I'll give that a shot. I like Captain Marvel. I haven't seen Miss Marvel. I hope I don't need to, but I'll try to watch it if I can to catch up on it. But these Marvel movies, I know this new kind of whatever they're calling it, generation or season or release has been mostly weak. Besides Guardians of the Galaxy, so I don't think I'll be rushing, but again, I like Captain Marvel, so it'll be fun to kind of switch it up from all the dramas that I've been watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested, but not interested because I follow the comics, and I'm one of those people that are old school and stuck to my old ways. I know Miss Marvel's storyline, and I'm
Mhm.
not just liking in the different directions in which it's going. I'm sure it's entertaining, and for the big storyline, yes, I'm going to check it out. But I'm not like happily running to the movies wanting to see it.
Yeah, well,
What I'm more eager to see, more than that, which is coming on Netflix, is The Killer. I want to see
yes,
that really bad,
David
like
Fincher.
really, really bad. Michael Fassbender is like an alien when it
Hmm.
comes to acting, and any role that he grasps, he fully immerses himself into it. I want to see that.
Yeah, that's the top of my list. And one more thing I'll add for Netflix, if you haven't yet, probably still one of the best, maybe the best movie of the year so far. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is on Netflix. Check it out,
Yeah,
Steven, if you haven't seen it. I know you're not a big on animated features, but yeah, it's just so good.
it is. And let me tell you this: I'm not gonna hold you. There were some parts in that movie that got to my gut, made me thinking I might want to cry, but I was like, I'm a grown behind man. This cartoon is not gonna get me teared up.
But
But they touch
man,
on some serious points. They get
yes,
you.
yes, they get you on a lot of aspects. So anyone who hasn't seen it yet, You got Netflix. There's no excuse now. Watch it. You'll love it. It is a long movie, but it's one of those movies that you don't even feel the length. You're really invested the whole time.
We'll see. I always feel the length with the long movies. You know, they were talking about how long movies have gotten over the years, and how they've talked about making an intermission in between the movies at the theaters.
Yeah. Well, I heard some theaters were getting in trouble because they were doing intermissions for Killers of the Flower Moon, and the studio who made that movie said they can't do that. They're like, no, you're not supposed to pause our movie for intermission. You're gonna 3.5 hours, and I don't know. I agree with the theaters. Too long.
Yeah, I had my nephew set up for me to watch something on Netflix. I think it was Friday night, Saturday, one of them, because I couldn't figure out the TV. Waste of time, because 5 minutes in, I was knocked out.
Well, because I'm a little older than you guys, maybe about a month or two older than you guys. I remember going to the drive-in and it being like a double feature. Like there was automatically an intermission built in to give you time to, and then movies weren't that long back then. Yeah.
Yep.
They were like maybe 80 minutes at the most. You do
That's
80
what
minutes.
90
you do
minutes. That's all I need.
You come back and do another 80 minutes,
Yeah, those were nice.
Well, guys, as always, thank you for letting us know to spend our time, money, or whatnot. Also, Big Brother, the finale is this week, so find out who wins. And down to the top 3. So, anyway, guys, thank you as always. See you next week, and we'll be right back after this.